Hello friends, I hope you are all doing good. Welcome back. So in our previous class we had discussed about a topic called as Introduction to GST. So nice and simple topic. First chapter, weightage of the in examination is 2 to 3 marks. So today we'll be discussing one of the important topic of your GST law, which is supply under GST. So this topic is the base for all your other chapters because the taxable event under the GST law is supply of goods or services or both. From exam point of view, what is the weightage of this chapter, sir? From exam point of view, the weightage of this chapter is around 4 marks. So the weightage of this chapter in your examination is around 4 marks. Yeah, so it is an important chapter. Nice chapter. Section 7 deals with supply. Now there is something called as a taxable event. Sir, what do you mean by taxable event? Sir, taxable event is the reason because of which you are paying the taxes. Okay, it is the reason because of which you are paying the taxes. Under GST law, the taxable event is supply of goods or services. The taxable event under GST law is what, sir? It is supply of goods or services or both. So the meaning of supply is given in section 7. Section 7 gives the meaning of supply. So section 7 is a beautiful section. It is a very beautiful section. It has beautiful subparts. I'll just give you bird's eye view of section 7. So when you see section 7 is divided into 4 categories. Section 7 subsection 1, section 7 subsection 1 capital A, 7(2) and 7(3). 7(3) is anyways not required, not so important, just one single point it talks about. Then section 7(1)A, section 7(1)AA, section 7(1)B and section 7(1)C, wherein with section 7 subsection 1 clause C you are supposed to read section 7 subsection 1 clause A, section 7 subsection 1 clause AA, B and C. With section 7(1)C you are required to read something called as schedule 1. 7(1) capital A you are required to read something called as schedule 2, and 7(2) you are required to read something called as schedule 3. So this is the basic bird's eye view of this topic. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A, section 7 subsection 1 clause AA and section 7 subsection 1 clause B talks about supply with consideration. Meaning in these three things there is an important element which is consideration, and 7(1)C talks about supply without consideration. So it talks about activities which shall be treated as supply even if there is no consideration. So now without wasting our time, let me straight away start the discussion on this topic. Let us start the revision on this topic called as supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A says, section 7 subsection 1 clause A says, supply includes all the different forms of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter, exchange, lease, license, rental, disposal, made or agreed to be made by a person for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Meaning if you want to call something as a supply as per section 7 subsection 1 clause A, there should be 5 things involved. That supply should be of goods and services, that supply should be made or agreed to be made, that supply should be by a person for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. It should be in the course or furtherance of business. If all these 5 elements are getting satisfied, then only I am going to call activities as supply. For example, you come to Priya Sarees, you purchase a saree worth rupees 10,000. So now, is it a supply, sir? You are purchasing a saree at Priya Sarees worth rupees 10,000. Is it a supply? Now first see, is it a supply of goods? Yes sir, there is a supply of goods which is happening. There is a goods which is involved. Then that supply should be made. Have I sold the sarees to you? Yes sir, you have sold the sarees to me. That should be made by a person. Am I a person? Yes sir, you are a person, sir. Then it should be for a consideration. Have you paid 10,000 rupees to me? Yes sir, I have paid 10,000 rupees to you. And fifth point, it should be in the course or furtherance of business. Is it in the course or furtherance of business? Yes sir, it is your business to sell sarees. So all the 5 elements are getting satisfied. Because all the 5 elements are getting satisfied, it will be treated as what, sir? It will be treated as supply. This particular transaction will be treated as supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A says, if you want to call something as a supply, 5 things should be there. It should be supply of goods or services made or agreed to be made by a person for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Sir, what do you mean by goods, sir? Oh sir, tell me, what do you mean by goods? Goods means every kind of mobile property. What do you mean by goods? Goods means every kind of mobile property other than money and securities, but includes actionable claims, growing crops, things attached to or forming part of land which can be further supplied. Then what do you mean by services? Services means anything other than goods, money and securities. What is services? Anything other than goods, money and securities, but includes activity in relation to use of money or its conversion, for which a separate consideration is charged. Activity in relation to use of money is not read as service. Activity in relation to use of money for which separate consideration is charged is read as service. For example, I gave you a loan of 1 lakh rupees, you gave back me that 1 lakh rupees after 6 months. No supply at all, no supply at all. I gave you a loan of 1 lakh rupees, you gave back to me it after 6 months along with 10,000 rupees. Now I am charging a separate consideration for this particular activity. Now it will be treated as supply. Then, sir, what do you mean by consideration? Consideration to earmarks, payment in money or otherwise by the recipient or another person, but shall not include the subsidy which is given by central government or state government, and monetary value of any act or forbearance by the recipient or another person, but shall not include the subsidy which is given by central government or state government. Further, refundable deposits will not form part of consideration. Refundable deposits will not form part of consideration. They will form part of consideration if they are adjusted as consideration. And one more definition, which is a recipient. Sir, what do you mean by a recipient, sir? Because in consideration we saw consideration can be by recipient or any other person. Sir, who is this recipient? Recipient, we should see in a particular transaction of supply of goods or services, what are we supposed to see? We should see whether consideration is there for in the transaction or consideration is not there. If consideration is there for both the supply of goods and services, the person who is paying the consideration will be treated as recipient. And if the consideration is not there, if the supply which you are making that does not involve any consideration, in such cases the recipient will be, in case of goods, the person to whom the goods are delivered, and in case of services, the person to whom the services are rented. Now these four definitions are important definition in your first chapter. These definitions are also important in examination. One of the attempt they had asked a question on meaning of recipient for 5 marks. So it is important, these four definition you should be knowing. Okay, then let us go to the next section. Section 7 subsection 1 clause B. Section 7 subsection 1 clause B says supply includes importation of services by a person for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business or not. So if you are importing any services and it is for a consideration, and whether it is in the course of your business or not, it does not matter. If you are importing any services and that services have been imported for a consideration, always a supply. Now I don't care whether you have imported for your business purpose or your personal purpose. Sir, what do you mean by importation of services, sir? Oh sir, please tell me. No sir, what do you mean by importation of services? I will call a particular transaction as an importation of services. I will call a particular transaction as an importation of services if the supplier of that services is located outside India, the recipient of that services is located in India, and the place of the supply of that services is also in India. I am going to call a particular activity or a particular transaction as an importation of services if the person who is giving that services is located outside India, person who is taking that services is located in India, and the place of supply of that service is also in India. That place of supply is also in India. So if you are importing any services and if that services have been imported by you for a consideration, now it will be treated as supply whether you are importing it for your business purpose or your personal purpose. It does not matter. So Priya Saris wants to start Sari business in London. So I am importing services from an advocate or a tax consultant in London, for which I have paid $1,000 to him. Now is it a supply, sir? Answer is yes, it is a supply. Why? Because I am importing services, supplier is outside India, recipient is in India, and the place of supply is also in India. I have imported services. These services are imported for a consideration. I paid him $1,000 and it is for my business purpose. It is supply. Sir, say for example number 2, I imported some services from Russia. Okay, I imported some services from Russia, so I paid some amount. That the services which I imported from Russia was for my personal purpose. It was for my personal purpose. So I have imported services from Russia, and that services are imported by me for my personal purpose, and I paid some consideration for that. Is it a supply, sir? Answer is yes, it is a supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause AA, newly added section 7 subsection 1 clause AA says if there are any activities or transaction by a person other than individual, to its own members or vice versa for a consideration. So if there is any transactions happening between two different persons who are actually members, if there is any transaction happening between two different persons who are actually members, say for example association, resident welfare association, activities or transaction by a person to its own members. So if that association is giving services to its own members, say there is some cooperative society, it is giving services to its own members, there is a trade union giving services to its own members, so in such cases the activities or transaction by a person to its own members, if it is for a consideration, then it will be treated as supply. It will be treated as supply. Here activities or transaction by a person other than individual. Individuals are excluded from this particular point. Then important point. In examination they had asked this question once. Deemed supply. This is also called as deemed supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C read with schedule 1. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C says there are few activities specified in schedule 1. There are few activities which are listed or specified in schedule 1. These activities will be treated as supply even if there is no consideration. So there are totally 4 activities specified in schedule 1. These 4 activities will be treated as supply even if there is no consideration. Sir, which are, so this is also called as what, sir? Supply without consideration, or it is also called as deemed supply. It is also called as what, sir? It is also called as deemed supply. So activities specified in schedule 1 shall be treated as supply even if there is no consideration involved. So which are the activities specified in schedule 1, sir? Can you please tell me? It is permanent transfer or disposal of business asset provided input tax credit has been availed on such business asset. So if you are permanently transferring any business asset, if you are permanently disposing of any business asset on which you had taken input tax credit, then that permanent transfer or disposal of business assets shall be treated as supply. Please note, the lawmakers have not given the meaning of business assets. So what is business assets? Are anything which is there in your asset side of balance sheet. So whatever you have capitalized and which you are treating it as an asset, except your P&L account, debit balance, etc. So your stock is a business asset, AC is a business asset, fan is a business asset, or the computers which are there is a business asset, etc. Furniture which you have, it is a business asset. So business asset, if you are permanently transferring any business asset or permanently disposing of any business asset on which you had taken input tax credit at the time of purchase of that business asset, if you had taken input tax credit, now this permanent transfer or disposal, even if that permanent transfer or disposal is without consideration, it will be treated as supply. For example, I started my I had some computers in my firm. So these computers I gave to a government school right next to me. At the time of purchase of these computers, I had taken input tax credit. Now I thought let me shift to the laptops, etc. So I gave all these 5 computers which I had to a government school. Now is this a supply, sir? If I have taken input tax credit, there is a transfer of business asset. Yes, it is a supply. Then supply of goods or services or both between related person or between distinct person referred to in section 25.4 or 25.5. If you are supplying any goods or services or both to whom? Your related person or to your distinct person referred in section 25.4 or 25.5. So if there is a supply of goods or services or both between related person, and if it is made in the course or furtherance of business, it shall be treated as supply. If there is a supply of goods or services or both between distinct person referred to in section 25.4 or 25.5, then also it shall be treated as supply if it is made in the course or furtherance of business. Meaning, say for example, I am having a company in the name of Priya Sarees. Okay, so my wife comes to Priya Sarees. My wife purchases a sari. My wife takes a sari from Priya Sarees. Now she does not pay any consideration to me. Is it a supply? Answer is yes. Lawmaker says it is a supply. Say my girlfriend comes to Priya Sarees. My girlfriend comes to Priya Sarees. She takes a sari free of cost. Is it a supply? Answer, lawmaker says no, it is not a supply. Sir, why, sir, it is not a supply? Girlfriend is not a related person. Girlfriend is not related by person. Wife is a related person. Now, sir, what is this 25.4 or 25.5 talking about? It talks about deemed distinct person. It talks about deemed distinct person. Section 25.4 says where a person has obtained more than one registration, where a person has obtained or is required to obtain more than one registration, whether in a state or a union territory or more than one state or more than one union territory, he shall in respect of each of those registration be treated as distinct person. He shall be deemed as distinct person. Section 25.5 says where a person has an establishment registered in a state and he also has another establishment in another state or union territory, then these establishments shall be treated as distinct person. So basically it is a registration section, but it talks about what's a distinct person. They may look same to you, meaning Dilip has two branches of Priya Sarees. Both I have taken separate registration. Now basically they are both the companies belong to me only, but still lawmaker says they are distinct for me. But still lawmaker says what, sir? Lawmaker says they are different for me, they are distinct for me. So they will be deemed as distinct person. These will be deemed as distinct person. Now what are they telling? If there is a transfer, supply of goods or supply of services happening between this distinct person without consideration also, then it will be treated as supply. Meaning if there is a Priya Sarees branch in Bangalore and there is a Priya Sarees branch in Jaipur, and if there is say 100 sarees supplied by Priya Sarees Bangalore to Priya Sarees Jaipur, and they both are registered separately, because they both are registered separately, they will be called as distinct person. Now there is a saree which is supplied by one distinct person to another distinct person free of cost, it will be treated as supply. It will be treated as what, sir? Supply. That is what this point is talking all about. So nowadays in GST law, stock transfer between own establishment will also be treated as supply if they are distinct person as per 25.4 or 25.5. important. Then very important point, one more important point, important for your MCQs. Most of the time they ask this for MCQ. Provided that, see what they have told is related person definition. When you see the related person definition says that an employer and employee is also treated as relative. An employer as well as his employee will also be treated as relative. So they have given one exclusion. See, normally if my employer and the employee is treated as related person, then whatever is given free of cost to employee will be treated as supply as per the above point. But they have told no, there is an exception, provided that gifts given by an employer to the employee, if the value of the gift is not exceeding 50,000 rupees in a financial year per employee. So if employer is giving gift to whom? His employee, and the value of the gift is not exceeding how much, sir? 50,000. If the employer is giving the gift to his employee and the value of the gift is not exceeding 50,000 rupees in a year per employee, then it shall not be treated as supply. Sir, 50,000 per gift I should take? No. In a year combined together. Say employee has given 5 different gifts to you. Say during Diwali one gift, they have given Ganesh Chaturthi one gift, they have given Christmas one gift, they have given Eid one gift, they have given, etc. So in this case all these different gifts are given on different occasion, sir, but individual value is not more than 50,000, sir, but combined together the gift value comes to 75,000, sir. Is it taxable? Answer is yes. So individual value is not required to be seen, you should see combined value. And this combined value for all the employees together I should see? No, individual employee, single employee, throughout the year it should not exceed 50,000. Sir, what if it is exceeding 50,000? Say I gave one of my employee a gift of 51,000 rupees, sir. So how much is taxable? Is only 1,000 rupees taxable? Answer is no. If it exceeds 50,000, entire 50,000, that whatever amount is that entire amount will be taxable. In this case it is 51,000, full amount will be taxable. Then supply of goods by principal to his agent or vice versa, wherein the agent is undertaking to further supply those goods on behalf of principal in his own name. Very important, that shall be treated as supply. Please note, this covers only supply of goods. And our last point, it covers only importation of services, it does not cover importation of goods. Sir, why, sir, importation of goods is not there under 7(1)(b)? Because importation of goods, custom duty will be applicable, so you have to refer that law, which will read in final level. And this point talks about what's a supply of goods. Supply of goods by principal to agent or vice versa, or the agent is supplying the goods to principal free of cost. So principal is supplying the goods to agent free of cost, wherein the agent is undertaking to further supply. Agent is again further supplying those goods to different customer in his own name, in the name of agent himself. Then whatever is supplied free of cost by principal to the agent will be treated as supply. Sir, please note, this is an important point. Now there are two possibilities. Say Priya Sarees has an agent, Karina Sarees. So Karina is involved in supplying, say Priya Sarees is in Bangalore, Karina Sarees is in Mumbai. Now Priya has supplied 1,000 Mysore silk saree to Karina free of cost. Now Karina sells these sarees to different customers in Mumbai. Now two possibilities are there. Karina gives invoices to the customer in name of Priya Sarees. Okay, in this case that 7(1)(c) is not applicable, that schedule 1 point is not applicable. Why, sir? Because Karina is giving the invoice to the customer in whose name? Priya's name. However, if Karina Sarees is giving invoice to the customer in the name of Karina Sarees itself, then it shall be treated as supply. If Karina is giving the invoice to whom? The customers. If Karina is giving the invoice to customer, if the Karina is giving invoice to the customer in her own name, then whatever free of cost is supplied by Priya to Karina will be treated as supply. Okay, then last point covered in section 7 subsection 1 clause C, read with schedule 1. This is also called as para 1, para 2, para 3, para 4, para 4. Importation of services by a person from his relative outside India or from his another establishment located outside India if it is made in the course or furtherance of business. If it is made in the course or furtherance of business. Importation of services by a person from his relative outside India or from his another establishment located outside India if it is made in the course or furtherance of business, then it shall be treated as supply. Then it shall be treated as supply. So if you are importing any services free of cost from your relative outside India or your another establishment, meaning you have a branch office outside India, etc., then that importation shall be treated as supply if you have imported that services free of cost for your business purpose. Then section 7.1 capital A, read with schedule 2. Section 7.1 capital A basically talks about 7.1 capital A says there are few activities which are specified in schedule 2. There are few list of activities which I have given the list in schedule 2. These activities which are given in schedule 2 are supply. They are all supply as per 7.1. As per this section 7.1, no. As per this section 7.1, they are all supply. So you don't have to worry about whether it is supply or not. But schedule 2 is going to actually tell you whether that will be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. As I told you in my previous class, before there was a problem in understanding whether a particular transaction will be treated as supply of goods or supply of services. For example, SIM card I gave. So SIM card, whether it is treated as sale of goods or sale of services, that clarity was not there. So both the governments were levying the taxes, central government also and state government also. Similarly, I go to a restaurant, I am having food over there. Now whether it is supply of goods or supply of services, that clarity was not there. For that reason, this schedule 2 was introduced under GST law. So it gives different cases to you. It gives different cases to you, and it specifically tells whether it is supply of goods or supply of services. So the crux of schedule 2, when you read schedule 2 as a whole, the main element or the main gist or crux is that if the ownership is transferred, if the ownership is transferred or title is transferred, then I am going to call that particular activity as supply of goods. For example, you come to Priya Sarees, you purchase a saree worth rupees 10,000, you give the 10,000 to me, I give you the saree. Now in this case, the possession of the saree was with me, Priya Sarees, and the ownership of the saree was also with me. I have given the possession to you, I have transferred the ownership to you. In this case, I have transferred ownership as well as possession. So this is a case of supply of goods. Whenever there is a ownership as well as transfer of ownership of title as well as possession, then it is supply of goods. But if only right in goods is transferred, then it is supply of services. I gave that saree to you for one day for your use. Now in this case, I have not sold the saree. The ownership of the saree is not transferred to you. Only the possession of the saree is transferred. Ownership is belonging to me only. Only the possession of saree is transferred to you for one day. It will be treated as supply of services. So they have given different element over here. If following shall be treated as supply of services. Say if you are doing any treatment or process on goods belonging to another person, or renting of immovable property, construction of immovable property, or temporary transfer of intellectual property right, development, design, customization of information technology software. Important is this: agreeing to an obligation to refrain for this examination. This is very important. Agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act, to tolerate an act, or to do an act. Works contract services, or restaurant or outdoor catering services. And what will be treated as goods, sir? Say goods you are given on goods which is supplied on hire purchase system or installment purchase system, or sale of goods by Priya Sarees, or goods which are the goods belonging to business are disposed of by the owner of that business, etc. Then the last point in this supply is section 7 is section 7 negative list of supply or no supply, or activities which shall neither be treated as supply of goods nor be treated as supply of services. So section 7 subsection 2 gives the list of activities which are neither supply of goods nor supply of services, read with schedule 3. So government has notified few things which will not be treated as supply, and there are few things listed in schedule 3 which shall not be treated as supply. Government has notified two things which shall not be treated as supply. One, grant activities performed by panchayat or municipality under article 243G or 243W, and grant of liquor license by state government. So if you want to start a liquor business in your particular state, you will have to take license from the state government. So state government is going to give you that license after taking some money from you. So whatever license has been given by the state government, that will not be treated as supply. And then activities performed by panchayat and municipality. So panchayat and municipality are required to undertake various different activities which are listed in article 243G and 243W. For that, if they are charging any money, it is not a supply. Then schedule 3 activities. So there is something called a schedule 3. In this schedule 3, they have listed few activities. Totally 9 activities are there, but for CA inter students there are only 6 activities which are applicable. These activities shall neither be treated as supply of goods nor supply of services. Which are these activities? Services given by employee to the employer in the course of employment. Services given by court or tribunal except arbitral tribunal. Services given by MLA, MP, President, Prime Minister or Chairperson of GST Council. Services by way of funeral, burial, cremation, mortuary, including the transportation of deceased. Sale of land, and sale of building subject to para 5B of schedule 2. Actionable claims except lottery betting and gambling. High sea sale, third country sales and warehouse sales. Sale of land is not treated as supply. Whatever type of land it is, it does not matter whether it is an agricultural land, whether it is an industrial land, whether it is a commercial land or it is a residential land, it does not matter. Sale of land is not a supply. Sale of building also will not be treated as supply provided you satisfy the conditions specified in para 5B of schedule 2. Now what is this para 5B of schedule 2 telling? Para 5B of schedule 2 says if the consideration for the sale of building is received before completion certificate or before first occupancy, it shall be treated as supply. So for that building which you are selling, if you are receiving the consideration before the completion certificate or before it is first occupied by someone, then it will be treated as supply. If the consideration is received after completion certificate or after first occupancy, then it shall not be treated as supply. It shall not be treated as supply. Then in this first chapter, there are few important beautiful circulars. There are few circulars, very beautiful circulars. What are these circulars, sir? Important circulars. In that, for this examination, I will just take that circular which will be important for this examination. One is this newly added circular number 178 10/2022. So this circular we'll see. Nice circular, important circular for your examination. It is a circular which is important for your examination. Okay. You don't have to remember the circular number. Please note that you don't have to remember the circular number. Now, 2 circulars were newly added. So we have, the topic is completed. Section 7 is completed. Now we are seeing the amendments which has happened in section 7. One point was with respect to this section 7(1)AA. It was added. From previous attempt only it was applicable to you, and now these 2 circulars also were added, and this also from previous attempt only it is applicable. One is with respect to perquisites. Now they say that services given by employee to the employer in the course of employment is not treated as supply. So in the course of employment, employer is going to pay something called as salary. This salary also includes perquisites. Whether this perquisites will be treated as supply. Lawmaker said if these perquisites are given as per contractual agreement between the employer and the employee, then it is not a supply. If you are giving these perquisites because of your employment-employee relationship, it is not a supply, else it will be treated as supply. Then one more clarification was given with respect to applicability of GST on liquidated damages, compensation, fines, penalty which arises out of breach of contract or breach of any law. Normally there is a point in your schedule 2. Schedule 2 has a point which talks about what, sir? Schedule 2 has a point which talks about Schedule 2 has a point which talks about what, sir? Schedule 2 has a point which talks about agreeing to an obligation. If you are agreeing to an obligation, what kind of obligation? If you are agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act, if you are agreeing to an obligation to tolerate an act, if you are agreeing to an obligation to do a particular act, then that particular activity will be treated as services. It will be treated as what, sir? Supply of services. So here lawmaker says just because you are agreeing to do something, I will not call it as a supply. Now that, for example, say I was going in my car. Okay, I was going in my car. Sir, it looks like a truck. Yeah. So I was going in my car. Now when I was going in my car, I was busy talking to my So I was busy talking to my girlfriend, and all of a sudden she did a video call. So I was just speaking to her. Because I was talking to her, I was not, for few seconds my concentration on the road, it was distracted. Please note, you should not say don't drink and drive. You should also not talk on the phone when you are driving. But then I am a group where I have done some activities like this. Because of that, what happened, I hit a car. There was a car which was standing in front of me on the signal. I hit that particular car. I hit this particular car. Now this car owner came and he told, sir, you have damaged my car, etc. He fought with me for 5 seconds, and then he told, sir, you pay me 5,000 rupees. You pay me 5,000 rupees for this particular damage which is caused by you. Now please note, there is a damage to this person's car which is caused by me. So this person's car, there is a damage which is caused by me. Now to compensate the loss resulting from this damage, I am paying him some money. Now this 5,000 rupees which I have paid him, is it for the services which is given by him? Is it for the services which is given by him? He is tolerating the damage. I have done some damage to his car. Now he is tolerating that particular thing. For tolerating that particular thing, he took 5,000 rupees from me. He took 5,000 rupees from me. So the question is whether this damage which is caused by me to this person's car, for which he is taking 5,000 rupees, is it treated as supply of services? Is it an agreeing to an obligation to refrain from an act, to tolerate an act, or to do an act? Is it supply of services as per that particular point? Lawmakers have told, to treat this particular transaction as a supply or not, you will have to see two things. You will have to see two things. What is the two things, sir? You will have to see that whether there is an agreement. That agreement can be an expressed agreement or an employment agreement that should exist between you both, and the consideration must flow because of that particular agreement. There should be a consideration which should be given. Say in the present case, there is 5,000 rupees consideration is there. This consideration should go because of that agreement. That agreement which was entered between you both. Now there was no agreement between both of us. Say that if there is any damage caused by me to your car, I am going to pay the money to you. So there was no agreement at all. Now, but still the damage is caused, and I have paid the consideration. Now because the condition number 1 is not satisfied, that there was no agreement between both of us, whether it expressed or implied, this particular transaction will not be treated as a supply. Similarly, you are riding your say you do some breach of law. Meaning what, sir? For example, you are going on your bike without helmet. A police officer stops you. He stops you. He takes money from you. Whether this particular activity you paid 500 rupees as a fine or penalty, whether it is a supply, again lawmakers has told it is not a supply. Now there should be an agreement, whether an expressed agreement or an employment agreement, and the consideration which is paid should be because of that particular agreement. So they have given different examples for that. And they have told whether it is supply or not. They have told cancellation charges which the airline companies or the railway IRCT collects from you, that shall be treated as supply and therefore subject to GST. Late fees which you are paying for non-payment of consideration within the time limit, that is required to be added in value of supply. Interest, penalty, late fee for delayed payment of consideration as per section 15 subsection 2 clause D. So it will be added in value of supply. The penalty which is imposed under any law, it shall penalty. It is an say for example you are violating traffic rules, or I am a factory violating the pollution control rules, etc. So in this case it is not there was no such agreement or expressed or employment agreement because of which I am paying this penalty. So in this case it will not be liable to tax. Then check dishonor charges, etc. They say it is not liable to tax because you never take a check from a person with an intention of dishonoring it or bouncing it. So no one will give you a check with an intention to dishonor, etc. And say for example, they have given some examples which is not treated as supply and which is treated as supply. Say advance money forfeited in your income tax, advance money forfeited. Now because he has not purchased the property, you forfeit that advance money. So in this case they say that there is no services which is provided and this amount will not be taxable under GST. Now say you have booked a movie ticket, you don't go to the theater, so that movie ticket amount will not be refunded to you, it will be kept by them only. So they say that it is a supply. You have booked a train ticket or a bus ticket and you don't appear, in that case they forfeit that money, they will keep that money with themselves. So it is treated as supply, and automatically that amount will be taxable. So they have given different cases like this. So in this chapter there is only this small amendment which is there, circular, which they have added, and there is one more point in this chapter, which is section 8, taxability of composite and mixed supply. Section 8 talks about taxability of composite supply and taxability of mixed supply. They say composite supply are taxed at the rate of principal supply and mixed supply is taxed at highest rate. Sir, what do you mean by composite supply? Composite supply means supply of 2 or more taxable goods and services which are naturally bundled in ordinary course of business, supplied in conjunction with another, for one of which is principal supply. One of them should be a principal supply, then I am going to call it as a composite supply. And there is something called as mixed supply. So what is this mixed supply, sir? Mixed supply means supply of 2 or more individual goods and services which are not naturally bundled in ordinary course of business, but they are supplied in conjunction with another for a single price, and which is not a composite supply. Then I will call it as mixed supply. If it is a mixed supply, it will be taxed at highest rate. For example, I am buying a mobile phone, I am getting charger free, composite supply. So the principal supply over here is mobile phone. Then say I am purchasing a gift box which contains a wallet, it contains a belt, it contains a perfume. Now this is a mixed supply. I am buying a toothpaste and I am getting a brush free. This is a mixed supply. I am buying a washing powder, I am getting bucket free. Mixed supply, taxable at highest rate. Okay, so these were the so this is all about the different points which are there in this chapter. Now let us see some questions of this supply under GST. Supply under GST. Supply under GST. So mostly the question from this topic will be very easy question. An electronic dealer sells desktop for 50,000 and earns a profit. Does it qualify a supply? So see, whether he earns profit or not, that is not the criteria for deciding whether something is supply or not. He is selling desktops for 50,000 rupees. So is it a supply? Answer is yes. Yes, it is qualifying a supply. As per section, how should I answer, sir? What is their question? Give the answer to that, then give the provision of the law, or give the provision of the law and then give your conclusion. So as per section 7 subsection 1 clause A, supply includes all form of supply of goods or services or both, such as sale, transfer, barter. Sir, can I write in that point format which is given in the chart material? Answer is yes. Please note, the chart material is prepared in such a manner that what is required to be written in examination, that is there over here. Meaning, if you write these things in examination, if there is a question on mixed supply, if you write this, more than sufficient. If there is a question on section 7 subsection 1 clause A, if you write this, more than sufficient. So it is prepared in such a manner that if you write this in examination, that is more than sufficient. If there is a question on 7.1 C ready with schedule 1, if you write this, more than sufficient. Goods definition, service definition, if you write this, it is more than sufficient. So same thing. So can I write in this point wise, sir? Answer is 100% yes. Then Mr. A, an unregistered person, plans to pursue his higher education in Australia. He receives career consultancy services from an Australian company, Australian-based consultant for 5 lakh rupees. Does it qualify as supply? Yes, because I am importing services for a consideration. Though it is for my personal purpose, for my education purpose, it will be treated as supply. Yes, it qualifies as a supply. ABC company, a manufacturer of goods, donated laptops to charitable school on account of relocation of the office. So they were shifting the office, so whatever old laptops they had, they gave to the some school. The company has taken input tax credit on these laptops. So does it qualify as a supply? Is it a supply? Answer is yes, it is a supply, because 7, this is called as deemed supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C read with schedule 1 says, if you are permanently transferring or disposing of any business asset on which input tax credit was availed by you or taken by you, then it will be treated as supply. Then Sun Limited provides management consultancy services without any charge, free of cost, to Moon Limited, in which Sun Limited has controlling right. So if you have a controlling right in someone, then you are treated as a related person. You will be treated as a related person to them. You will be treated as related person. The said consultancy has been provided for the benefit of entire group. Okay, it does not matter. Does it qualify as a supply? Answer is yes, it is a supply without consideration. So yes, it is a supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C read with schedule 1 of CGST Act says that supply of goods or services or both between related persons shall be treated as supply supply even if it is without consideration, provided it is made in the course of furtherance of business. As per explanation to section 15, a person shall be deemed to be related person if one of them are directly or indirectly controls the other. Meaning, now if you see section 7 if you see that related person definition, no, they have given all these different things in related person. Now this question was not related to all these different points. It was specific to this control point. Say this point number E, one of them directly or indirectly controls other. So it was only with respect to that point. You don't have to write the entire related person definition. You just have to write that specific point, that yes, as per this explanation to section 15, he is treated as related person and therefore it is a supply. Then PQR Limited gives gifts to employees worth rupees 6 lakh. Does it qualify as a supply? You are giving gift to employees worth rupees 6 lakh. Yes, it is a supply. If the value of the gift is what, sir? Please note, single employee they have given. Employees, if they would have given, then more than one employee. If the value of the gift is 40,000 rupees, then it is not a supply. Then this is a good question, important question. Similar type of question was asked in examination. This is an institute material question. A similar question was asked in examination. Very important question. Sulekha manufacturers have a factory in Delhi and depot in Mumbai. Both these establishments are registered in GST law. So if they both are registered separately, that means section 25(4) is applicable. Section 25(4) is applicable. They are treated as distinct person. Finished goods are sent from factory in Delhi to depot in Mumbai without consideration, so that it can be sold over there. Now this, whatever you are sending free of cost to your depot, to your branch in Mumbai, is it a supply? From Delhi to Mumbai, is it a supply? Answer is yes, it is a supply. Yes, answer is yes, it is a supply. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C, read with schedule 1 para 2. Point number 2 says what, sir? Supply of goods or services or both between distinct person referred to in section 25(4) or 25(5) shall be treated as supply. This should be your point number 2. As per section 25 subsection 4, distinct person means dot dot, that distinct person point you should write, that if a person has obtained or is required to obtain more than one registration, then each of those registrations shall be treated as distinct person as per section 25 subsection 4 or section 25 subsection 4, because this point talks about only that point. They have separate registration, and then give your conclusion. Now in the present case, since there is a transfer by Sulekha manufacturers factory in Delhi to its depot in Mumbai, which are registered separately, it will be treated as supply. This particular transaction of transfer of goods, finished goods from the factory in Delhi to depot in Mumbai shall be treated as supply, even though there is no consideration involved. Then Raman, an architect in Chennai, his brother who settled in London is a well-known lawyer. Raman has taken, he is a well-known lawyer, Raman has taken legal advice from him free of cost for his family dispute. Now because it is taken for family dispute, meaning you are taking services for what reason? For your personal purpose. If you are importing any services from your relative outside India, it will be treated as supply. It will be treated as supply if it is for your business purpose. Now in the present case, it is for family dispute, so obviously it is not a supply. Now next point, see this point, this is very important. Would your answer be different in the above case if Raman has taken the advice in respect of his business unit located in Chennai? Will your answer change if the services was taken by Raman not for his family dispute but for his business purpose? Will your answer change if the services were taken for his business purpose? Answer is 100% yes. Yes, it will change. Yes, it will be treated as supply. If you take it for your business purpose, yes, it is going to be treated as supply. It is going to be treated as supply. Now, what is important over here? Sir, you said this point is very important. This is important because the meaning of related person. In the meaning of related person, if they say that if you are members of same family, you will be treated as relative. Okay, the definition says if you are a member of same family. So, me and my brother should be related person. Correct? Not correct. Me and my wife, we are related person, members of same family. Me and my brothers also, we are members of same family. Should I not be treated as related person? Lawmaker says no. Wait. I will call your brother or your sister as your relative, provided you satisfy some condition. See the second point, schedule 1 inter alias stipulates that importation of services by a person from a related person located outside India without consideration is considered as supply if it is provided in the course or furtherance of business, as per explanation to section 15, which provides the meaning of related person. If they are members of same family, they will be treated as related person. So here family means what? They have given the meaning of family. Family means spouse, children of a person. So for Dilip's wife and Dilip's children will be related person. And they say my parents, my grandparents, my brothers, sisters of the person, meaning my parents, my grandparents, my brothers and my sister will also be treated as my related person if they are wholly or mainly dependent on me. My parents will be treated as my relative only if they are dependent on me. My brothers and sister will be treated as related only if they are dependent on me. Please understand this very beautiful point, very important point. In examination you should be very careful. So normally in my classroom I keep on giving an example that I have supplied sarees to my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law is not my related person. My mother-in-law is not my related person. Okay, now my parents are also not my related person. You ignore my mother-in-law. My father is working and I am having my CA practice. I have filed his income tax return. I have filed his income tax return free of cost. Now is your father treated as a related person? He is not dependent on me, so he is not my related person. My grandparents are not dependent on me. They are not my related person. My own brother and sister, they will be treated as my relative only if they are dependent on me. So in the present case, Raman has given legal advice for his personal matter, therefore it is not treated as supply. Now what if it is for business purpose? What if it is for business purpose? This is the beauty. See the beauty. This is the beauty. Sir, what is the beauty, sir? Now if I have imported the services from my relative outside India, it will be treated as supply even if it is without consideration. In the present case, he is my brother. He is a well-known lawyer. If he is a well-known lawyer means what, sir? If he is a well-known lawyer means he is earning well over there. If he is earning well over there, that means he is not dependent on me. If he is not dependent on me, he is not my relative. So if I import any services from my from a non-related person, it is not a supply. In the given case, if Raman has taken the advice with regard to his business unit, services provided by Raman's brother to him would still not be treated as supply under section 7, although the same is provided by for his business purpose, since he is not a related person. Since his brother is not a related person, it will not be treated as supply. Nice. This also, Dum Electronics. Nice question. Important question. Dum Electronics has sold the following electronic items to Akbar retail store. Refrigerator, 18%. It has sold the following items. They have sold what, sir? They have sold a refrigerator which is taxable at 18%, a stabilizer taxable at 12%, LED TV taxable at 12%, split AC taxable at 28%, and stabilizer for AC taxable at 12%. Dum Electronics, which is there, no? Dum Electronic has given a single invoice. It has given a single invoice indicating the price of each of the items separately in the invoice. So they have given one single invoice is given to Akbar retail store, wherein they have given refrigerator, stabilizer, LED, split AC, stabilizer. They have given the amounts for this and they have given it all separately. For each of this, the above in the single invoice, the price of all those are separately mentioned and the items are also separately mentioned. The Akbar retail store has given a single check of 1 lakh rupees, and at the time of making the payment also this person has given one single check for all the amounts. For all the items at discounted price, state the type of supply and what is the tax applicable. So here the question is, what is the type of supply? Whether it is a composite supply or mixed supply, or it is not a composite supply or not a mixed supply. So they have asked you what type of supply it is and what is the tax rate I should apply. If it is a composite supply, you will apply principal supply. If it is a mixed supply, you will apply highest rate. If it is neither composite nor mixed, then whatever individual rates are there. Now, before answering this question, my question to you is, do you know there is something called as DMart? Do you know there is something called as DMart? When you go to DMart, say you are purchasing different products, you are purchasing milk over there, you are purchasing biscuit over there, you are purchasing say a dosa pan over there, you are purchasing say a tube light for your house, you are purchasing say a broomstick, you are purchasing say some towel, etc. You are purchasing some dress for you, you are purchasing so many different items, you are purchasing Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Now you are purchasing different items. For all these different items, DMart gives a single invoice. DMart will give a single invoice to you. Now this single invoice, the DMart is going to give a single invoice. The question is whether this you are going to treat it as composite supply or mixed supply. Sir, why will I treat this as composite or mixed supply? Sir, I have purchased all these products separately. Correct. And for this you are going to make one single payment. Correct, sir. Now these items are separately listed over there, and for that GST also is going to charge separately. They are separately listing over there. For that GST also is charges separately. Just because single invoices are given for multiple items sold at a time, it does not mean just because single invoice is given for multiple items sold at a time, it does not mean it is a composite or mixed supply. I will to check whether it is a composite or mixed supply, I will have to see whether they have created some mixture artificially or whether they are naturally bundled or not. For example, I go to the DMart, I purchase a toothpaste. With that toothpaste, I am getting brush free. Now here composite or mixed question will come. Here the question of composite or mixed will come. I go to DMart during Diwali time, they will have gift box wherein they will have mixtures, they will have dry fruits, they will have sweet box, etc. Now this particular item which I am purchasing for a single price, it will be treated as mixed supply. But here I am purchasing different products for which they are given single invoice. It is neither treated as mixed supply nor composite supply. Beauty. In the given case, the items supplied by Dum Dum Electronics are not naturally bundled in ordinary course of business. Therefore, such supply is not a composite supply. Further, although Akbar has paid a composite discounted price for these goods, Dum Dum Electronics has not charged single price for the supply, and therefore it is not a mixed supply also. See, it is not naturally bundled, therefore it is not a composite supply. Just because you have given one single amount, 1 lakh rupees amount for this entire invoice value, it cannot be treated as mixed supply because I am charging separately for each of these items. Supply of these goods therefore shall be treated as supply of individual items which are taxable at respective rate. Therefore, in this present case, it will be treated as sale of individual product which will be taxable at their respective rates. Then Sun Limited was amalgamated with Moon Limited. On account of amalgamation, Mr. Star, a shareholder, received 1000 shares of Sun Limited in exchange of 5000 shares of Moon Limited. Does it qualify as a supply? Now there is amalgamation of two companies happening. I am a shareholder getting shares of the new company for having the shares in old company. Now whether this particular shares which I have got, whether it is a supply, answer is no. Why, sir? Because as per definition of goods and as per definition of services, both goods and services says goods means every kind of movable property other than money and securities. Services means anything other than goods, money and securities. In both the cases, the goods and goods as well as service definition, securities are not treated as goods and it is not treated as services at all. So the question of treating it as supply will also does not arise. Rain Limited is an NBFC. It transfers its bad loan to Munna Limited. Does it qualify as a supply? So an NBFC is transferring its loan to a person which is Munna Limited. Is it a supply, sir? Just because I am transferring loan, please note, loans are all treated as actionable claims. Just because I am transferring loan, will it be treated as supply? Sir, actionable claims are treated as goods. No, sir. Yes, actionable claims are treated as goods. But when you see section 7 subsection 2 read with schedule 3, it says actionable claims except lottery, betting and gambling shall not be treated as supply. So if there is, see, normally actionable claims are treated as goods. So NBFC transferring its bad loan, it is treated as transfer of goods. However, because schedule 3, that is section 7 subsection 2 is telling that actionable claims except lottery, betting and gambling is not a supply at all, it will not be treated as supply. However, if that actionable claim is lottery, betting, gambling, yes, it will be treated as supply. As per the meaning of goods, goods will include actionable claims and hence actionable claims are covered in the definition of goods. However, schedule 3 specifically excludes actionable claims other than lottery, betting and gambling from the scope of supply. Therefore, the transfer of these actionable claims shall not be treated as supply. Chanda Limited, having head office in Panji, Goa, supplied goods worth rupees 10 lakhs to its branch in Rajasthan. Okay, this is anyways discussed. Is it a supply? Yes, it is supply. Zacme Limited is manufacturer of cosmetic products, supplied a package containing hair oil, sunscreen, shampoo, hair comb. All are taxable at different rate. The price for this package was rupees 500. 5,000 packets were sold. So what is kind of supply is this? So do you need with hair oil, do you need sunscreen, do you need shampoo, hair comb, etc.? No. So this is a mixed supply. It will be taxable at highest rate. Next, state whether the following constitute supply or not. So you have to tell whether it is supply or not. Mr. Anmol want to do his higher education in Germany. He receives career counseling services from a consultant and he pays 16,000. Yes, it is a supply. 7(1)(b). Goods sent for demonstration on returnable basis. So I am sending the goods for demonstration. I am sending the goods for exhibition. It is not a supply, because conditions of, if you want to call it as a supply, 7(1)(a) condition should be satisfied. Now you have sent it for demonstration, that means it is sent for, without consideration. So 7(1)(a) is not applicable, sir. But 7(1)(c) can be applied. No, sir, without consideration point. Now 7(1)(c), it should be a permanent transfer, it should be a related person, it should be principal agent or importation of services. It does not follow in that category also, therefore it is not a supply. ABC Limited provides management consultancy services without charge to X Limited, in which ABC Limited is controlling. Yes, it is stated as supply. Kids Educators, we had seen a question like this, that Kids Educators Private Limited gave gift worth rupees 2,50,000 to an employee. Is it a supply? Answer is yes, it is a supply, because more than 50,000 value gift. Then Mr. Suraj is owner of factory. He transferred right to operate the machines in factory to Mr. Chetan for 22,000 per month for next 10 months. Yes, it is treated as supply. So I have a machinery, I gave the right to use that machinery to someone else for 9 months. Yes, it is a supply. And it is treated as what's a supply of services. Machinery, Mishra Constructions Limited receives architectural design supplied by Mr. Roy, an foreign architect, and for which he pays 5 lakh rupees. He pays 5 lakh rupees, though it is for his personal purpose. It is a supply. ABC Limited, having head office in Pune, supplied goods worth rupees 10 lakhs to its branch. Yes, it is a supply. If they are registered separately, then yes, it is a supply. If not registered separately, not a supply. If one of them also is registered, then it will be treated as supply in the previous case. Mr. Dilip, a practicing chartered accountant, does not provide services to Only Labs, a dealer of laptop. In return, Only Labs gives 2 laptops to Mr. Dilip. Is it a supply? Yes, consideration can be in money or otherwise also. XYZ Associates received management consultancy services from its head office located in Dubai. Dubai rendered the services free of cost to its branch office. So it will be treated as supply if it is for business purpose. Section 7 subsection 1 clause C read with schedule 1 is required to be applied, and para 4 point number 4 last point will be applied over here. Mr. Dilip has a factory in Jaipur and depot. I think this point we have considered, so it is already a supply. Then again, your institute material question, Damodar Private Limited, registered in Delhi, has transferred some goods to its branch registered in West Bengal. So both are registered, it is a supply. I will not further read the question at all, but I'll just read the question for you. So that the goods are sold from its branch. The goods have been transferred without consideration. The company believes that the transaction undertaken by it does not qualify as a supply, as no consideration is involved. So is Damodar Private Limited's whatever he says, is it right? Answer is no, it is treated as supply. Determine whether following is treated as following amounts to composite supply. Check whether it is composite supply or mixed supply. Following things: hotel gives 4 nights 3 days package with breakfast and dinner with along with room. Normally if it is with breakfast, then it is composite. If it is breakfast and dinner, normally it is not composite supply. Toothpaste company offered free soap, mixed supply. Manufacturer of composite product, mixed supply. Then some past exam questions which were asked in the with respect to this chapter. Sahab Sales, an AC dealer in Delhi, needs 4 AC for his newly constructed house in Priya Enclave. Therefore, he transferred 4 ACs on which input tax credit was already availed from his stock for the said purpose. Examine whether the activity amounts to supply under section 7. Yes, it is a supply. Why, sir, it is a supply? Permanent transfer or disposal of business asset on which you have taken input tax credit, it will be a supply. Further, Delhi resident Akash approached Sahab Sales. He sold an AC to Sahab Safe for 5,000 rupees. Akash had bought the AC 6 months before for his residence. Now, so there is an individual, say for example, I had some AC, now I am giving that AC to this AC dealer. So is it a supply? Now my business is not selling this AC. Section 7 subsection 1 clause A, supply should be of goods or services made or agreed to be made by a person for a consideration in the course or furtherance of business. Now because it is not in the course or furtherance of my business, it will not be treated as supply. So this Akash who is giving his AC for 5,000, not a supply. Though it is the business of opposite person, though AC dealing in AC is business of opposite person. Okay, so answer to this. List any 4 activities which are neither treated as supply of goods nor supply of services. Exam questions, they are all exam questions. Examine whether import of services in following cases shall be treated as supply. So I told you know that Sulekha question, there is one exam question which is asked. It is this question. Miss Sriniti Kaushik received Vastu consultancy services for her residence in Bandra from Rachel Sydney. Fees paid, yes, it is a supply because fees paid. Miss Sriniti Kaushik received Vastu consultancy services for a resident at Mumbai from her son, Mr. Varun, who is residing in Australia. Mr. Srinidhi did not pay any consideration. Is it a supply? Because he is a son, he is my related person and I have taken it for my personal purpose, not a supply. Mr. Srinidhi received Vastu consultancy for her business purpose from her son. Srinidhi did not pay any consideration. Now again, he is my son. Son will be treated as what, sir? Son will be treated as a related person. It does not matter whether he is dependent or not. Therefore, in last case also it will be treated as supply. In all the cases, it is treated as supply. Give the meaning of supply as per section 7.1. 7.1, what is the meaning of supply? Please write the meaning of supply. Write with reference to CGST Act discussed in brief when importation of services shall be considered as supply and when it will not be considered as supply. So here you should give the provisions of section 7 subsection 1 clause B, that is importation of services for a consideration whether for business purpose or not shall be treated as supply, and you should also give the provisions of section 7 subsection 1 clause C, importation of services by a person from his relative outside India or from his another establishment outside India. If it is made in the course or furtherance of business without consideration, also it will be treated as supply. So if you are importing for consideration, always a supply. If it is imported without consideration, only if it is for business purpose and from your relative or another establishment, it will be treated as supply. If services are imported free of cost and it is from your unrelated person, not a supply. If services are imported free of cost, if it is from your relative and not for business purpose, not a supply. So two cases when it is not a supply and when it is supply, it is given above. Explain the concept of mixed supply and composite supply. So you should give the meaning. If a trader launches a package sales for marriage containing double bed, refrigerator, washing machine, wooden wardrobe for a single rate, he issues invoice showing the value of each invoice separately, whether it is treated as mixed supply or composite supply. Now in this case, that question, that Damodar question, see, they are that is an institute material. So normally, if you would have heard people telling, and normally also it is very important that you complete all the questions of institute material, because normally if you read your institute material, it is more than sufficient for your examination. Institute is asking the it is framing the question paper, so it will frame the question paper from the limited access points which they have given to you. It is ICI material, RTPs, mock test papers or previous exam question papers. So that is what you should completely do. You don't have to do some thousands of materials to say qualify in your examination. If you do this limited things, it is more than sufficient. Now same Damodar related question they have given over here, but they have given it differently. Examine whether the following activities would amount to supply. Glory is engaged in manufacturing and selling cosmetic product. Seva Trust, a charitable organization, approached Glory to provide financial assistance to its charitable activity. Glory Limited donated 2 lakh rupees to Seva Trust with a condition that Seva Trust is required to place a hoarding at the entrance of trust premises displaying that the products are sold by Glory Limited. Now this is with respect to a circular which was a clarification which was given. Normally if you give donation to someone, then it is not treated as supply, and after giving donation, if they are writing your name, thank you Mr. Dilip for your generous contribution, then also it is not treated as supply. But sir, it is giving advertisement to you, sir. See, normally if you give any donation to someone, their normal practice will be to thank you. That is the way they gratitude someone, correct, your contribution. But if they write thank you Mr. Dilip of Priya Sadis, then it is indirectly promoting my business, it is giving publicity to my business. In such case, if it is giving publicity to my business, then it will be treated as supply. The donation which is given to them, if it is giving publicity to my business, supply. Not giving any publicity to my business, not a supply. Mr. Swami of Chennai is working as a manager in ABC Bank. He consultant Jacobs and Company of London and took advice for buying a residential house in Mumbai and paid him to. Yes, it is a supply. Paid supply. List any 5 activities which is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. I think you know negative list of supply. So schedule 3 activities you can list over here, which is neither supply of goods nor supply of services. So this completes our discussion or our revision on this beautiful topic called as supply under GST law. So let us meet in our next class and we will discuss about the other topics in our next class. Till then, tada, bye bye, take care.